Well, the shadow cabinet was opposition leader Sussan Ley's first test, and she comprehensively failed. It's a hit job on high-profile women. The coalition's top female talent have been dumped or demoted. This includes Sarah Henderson, who's been dumped, Jane Hume, dumped, Claire Chandler, dumped, and Jacinta Nampijinpa-Price, demoted. And Jacinta has been dumped from the shadow cabinet and given a more junior portfolio of defence industry. Clearly, it's a mistake not to have Jacinta in the shadow cabinet. To think that she's no longer part of that crucial grouping that decides coalition policy, while, for example, Kerry-Ann Little has been included. Well, it's just bizarre. And Jacinta made her disappointment clear on Credlin tonight.
I'll be honest to say that there are probably some appointments that have not been predicated on experience or merit, but this is the team we have to work with, that we're working with going forward. And I mean, I'm not going to lie and say that I'm not disappointed that I'm not within cabinet itself.
And she also spoke about some of her colleagues who'd also been dumped. And one of them, Sarah Henderson. Oh, it's just illogical that Sarah Henderson has lost her frontbench position. She's capable, competent, smart and hardworking, a great media performer and a tireless senator. Now, Sarah put out a statement this evening that criticised Sussan Ley for demoting women. She said, "I regret that a number of high-performing Liberal women have been overlooked or demoted in the new ministry." Then there's Claire Chandler. She was in the shadow cabinet previously as in the portfolios of government services, sciences and the arts. But now she, like Sarah Henderson, has no portfolio at all. She's talented, another great performer. And you'll recall Tony Burke and Creative Australia had to intervene and sack the controversial artist Khaled Sabsabi as a result of her questioning when she was Shadow Arts Minister. And meanwhile, Jane Hume has been punished for coming up with a working from home policy for public servants that cost the coalition severely at the election. Yet she wasn't the only one who supported it. The whole team did, but she's been the scapegoat. Again, she's well known to Australians. She regularly takes up the fight to Labor ministers on live television. Now, in Sussan Ley's new team, there's not even a woman in the roles of education or early childhood education. I mean, early childhood education is now held by a man. I don't want to be sexist here, but there aren't many men working in preschools, so that's a bizarre choice. Yet this is what Sussan Ley has decided in her first move as Liberal leader, to hold back for talented, ambitious women. And it looks worse for her than it does for them. It looks like she's threatened by other women. And that's what coalition insiders are saying as well. Anyone can see that the likes of Jacinta has a bright future ahead of her. She's not going to be held back forever by Sussan Ley. It's only a matter of time. Yet Sussan Ley was all smiles for the cameras today.
Well, good afternoon. Today, David and I have reached agreement formally to reform the coalition, and we can announce our new coalition shadow ministry. I want to thank you, David, for the respectful and productive way that you and I have engaged throughout this process, and I know that we will be a great partnership going forward.
The shadow cabinet that she's assembled is not a winning team that has a chance of defeating Albanese or even clawing back significant ground. While there are some good moves, like Andrew Hastie in Home Affairs, the overwhelming makeup is weak. I mean, there are hardly any Liberals left in Parliament. Sussan Ley should at least elevate the most talented ones to key positions. But she hasn't done that. She's in such a shaky position herself, with half the party supporting Angus Taylor, that she hasn't promoted according to talent. She simply promoted those who voted for her, for the most part. And that's a key factor in how she won their vote for the leadership in the first place. They knew that they wouldn't have a shot at being in shadow cabinet ordinarily, so they were reportedly offered key positions in return for their vote. Now, Ted O'Brien was talented in energy against Chris Bowen, but will he be able to take the fight up to Treasurer Jim Chalmers, who's a polished, experienced and sophisticated performer? It's unlikely. James Paterson works with him as Shadow Finance Minister. Now, Paterson is the best performer in the coalition, and it's good for him to have economic experience. I have no doubt that in this role, he will still manage to shine above those in more prominent and technically senior positions. Dave Sharma, again, he's also one of the brightest, and yet he's been sidelined in a very junior role. He's an assistant shadow minister, not even a shadow, assistant. It's disappointing. And then on the national side, Barnaby Joyce and Michael McCormack have been dumped. Matt Canavan, again, isn't in shadow cabinet. Nationals leader David Littleproud says this is about renewal, fresh faces. But you also need experience. Barnaby and McCormack are two former party leaders who have that experience. They're well known to the Australian public, yet they aren't in shadow cabinet and they've got no formal role to play in the coalition at all. Now, when the task at hand for the coalition is so significant to win back between 30 and 40 seats, the coalition has today not put its brightest talent front and centre. The reality is the coalition is so irrelevant right now, and it's becoming even more so with this weak shadow cabinet that was not appointed on merit. It's likely that in 2 years' time, Sussan Ley won't be the Liberal leader, and this shadow cabinet will take another form. And you have to say the sooner that Sussan Ley falls over and someone with true leadership material steps up, the better it is for the country. Because it's not in anyone's interest to have an ineffective, bland opposition with zero chance of winning the next election. It means Australians will be subjected to Albanese's radical, high-taxing, left-leaning government for even longer.